All right, what's up, everyone? Today, we're talking about one of the most recognizable instruments out there and how it went through, like, the ultimate glow up in all of music history. Seriously, let's get right into it. So, look at this. How did this thing, basically an animal horn for just making noise, level up into this complex, shiny instrument we all know? It's a crazy story, full of upgrades, a few failed experiments, and one invention that literally changed the whole game. Okay, so let's start at level 1, the original beta test. This is the earliest version of what would become the trumpet. Think of it as, super basic. Its whole job wasn't making music, it was about sending a message. Yeah, that's right. The very first trumpets were literally made from wood or animal horns, and ancient civilizations basically used them as walkie-talkies. Forget about playing a nice tune. The whole point was just to be loud. Loud enough to be heard across the whole battlefield. It was like that basic in-game ping you use to tell your squad to attack or retreat. The sound was rough, and that's pretty much all it could do. All right, then we get the first big patch update, the material upgrade. People figured out how to make these things out of metal, like bronze and silver. And yeah, this was a decent improvement. The sound got brighter, clearer, and they were way more durable. But, and this is a big but, you were still stuck with just a few notes. The main glitch in the system, it was still there. Okay, now let's jump forward to level 2. This is where the trumpet unlocks some serious VIP status. We're talking medieval and Renaissance times, and this thing goes from just a basic tool to a major symbol of power. Seriously, if you were a king or a queen back then, you had to have trumpeters. They'd announce you everywhere you went with these long, fancy instruments, usually with banners hanging off them. Having your own trumpeter was the ultimate flex. It was like having the rarest, most expensive skin in a game. It just screamed, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. And this instrument was called the natural trumpet. To make it, not ridiculously long and impossible to hold, they folded the tube into a loop. But check it out, no buttons, no valves, nothing. To change notes, players had to do it all with just their lips and their breath. This technique is called overblowing, and it is insanely hard to do. It's like playing a character that has only one special move, and that move takes hundreds of hours to master. So this brings us to the next big quest in the trumpet story, the search for more notes. Because here's the problem with the original skill tree. It was super limited. The instrument was powerful, sure, but it just couldn't do very much. I mean, imagine trying to play a video game where your character can only move left or right. No jumping, no crouching, nothing else. That was basically the natural trumpet. You were totally stuck in one musical key, and that was all based on how long the instrument's tube was. Composers were tearing their hair out because they couldn't write all the cool, complex stuff for trumpets that they were writing for, say, violins. So the workaround they came up with was kind of wild. To change keys, a player had to literally stop playing, pull a piece of the pipe out, find the right-sized extra tube, called a crook, and slot it in. Then they could start playing again. It was so slow and clunky. Can you imagine having to pause your game, go into the settings menu, and completely change your loadout for every single enemy you fight? It would totally kill the vibe. So naturally, people started experimenting. One guy, an inventor named Anton Weidinger, tried adding keys, kind of like you'd see on a flute. And hey, it was a clever idea. It worked. The trumpet could finally play all the notes. But there was a massive downside. All those holes they had to drill made the trumpet's awesome, powerful sound really weak and kind of meh. It was a classic nerfed upgrade. You get a new ability, but it totally ruins what made the character great in the first place. But then, in the early 1800s, everything changed. The ultimate game changer finally arrived. And the trumpet skill tree, it was about to be unlocked for good. And these are the guys who finally cracked the code. Heinrich Stolzel and Friedrich Blumel. They came up with a system that was going to solve the trumpet's biggest problem without messing up its awesome sound. So how'd it work? Well, a valve is basically a little piston. When you press it down, it doesn't open a hole in the side. Instead, it instantly reroutes the air through an extra bit of tubing. Making the pipe longer changes the note. It was absolutely brilliant because you could change notes super fast, and that powerful, clear trumpet sound was totally preserved. So how many of these revolutionary little things did it take to completely change the instrument forever? Just 3. And with just those 3 valves, pressed in different combos, players suddenly had every single note right at their fingertips. The trumpet wasn't stuck anymore. It could finally play all those fast, complicated combos and beautiful melodies. It was finally on the same level as every other instrument in the orchestra. The whole game had changed. And that brings us to the modern trumpet. This is the endgame build, fully upgraded, super powerful, and crazy versatile. Let's check out its stat sheets. Okay, so the sound source, it's still the player's buzzing lips. That's where it all starts. The amplifier is the brass body of the instrument itself. But the pitch control, that's a total tag team now. You've got the 3 valves to make the big jumps between notes, and then you've got the player's lip tension for all the little fine-tuning. It's basically a high-tech machine, all made from precision-engineered brass. So here's the quick play-by-play of how it works. Step 1. Player buzzes their lips into the mouthpiece. Step 2. That vibration travels down all the tubing. Step 3. The bell shape of the instrument amplifies that buzz into a real musical sound. And step 4. Pressing the valves changes which tube the air goes through. And that's how you get all the different notes. And just like in a game, you can even choose your character class. The B-flat trumpet, that's your all-rounder, the one you see most of the time. Then there's the piccolo trumpet. Think of it like a high-speed scout for playing super high notes. The cornet is more of a specialist with a mellower vibe. And the flugelhorn, that's your heavy hitter with a really dark, soft sound. Each one has its own special purpose. And because it's so versatile, the modern trumpet is, well, it's everywhere. It brings that epic power to a symphony orchestra, it's the star of the show in a jazz solo, and you hear it in marching bands, pop songs, even movie scores. It's one of the most important and recognizable sounds in all of music, for sure. So, if we had to sum this whole thing up in just one sentence, it'd be this. The trumpet leveled up from a simple horn used for signals into a complex instrument that can play pretty much any melody you can dream up. It's a pretty incredible evolution, right? And it really makes you wonder, what's next? After leveling up all the way from an animal horn to this valved masterpiece, what could the next upgrade even be? Let me know what you think. Thanks for hanging out.